Audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Audible? Visible?
No, sir.
No. Now is it better? Yes. No. Respond.
Yes,
Respond.
sir.
Respond.
Good evening, sir. Yes, sir.
Good evening, people. I insist you to keep your cameras on. Look at your funny faces. Trust me, look at these faces. Guys, relax. All right. So it's absolutely normal. We guys are sitting for another session, interesting session. So what we've done in last 120, 130 hours, we are going to quickly see at a very, very macro level, at a 30,000, 60,000 feet level. All right. So most of you are thinking something's wrong with this attire. Please don't worry. I just finished another meeting and I just logged in. So don't bother about all that. Let's quickly get started with one of the most important sessions. I love this session because as a student, I've always been craving for it. Trust me, immediately after the session, after the examination, I have those thousands of irritating friends outside waiting. Yengito macha, kaisa tha re paper? And all of those irritating questions, don't bother. Don't bother at all. All right. Stay away from such machas and friends you really don't need for the next 15 days. Let's get started with one of the most important sessions, which I am lucky. I take this as a privilege to be a part of it because every student needs it. All right. Relax. Let's get started. So the session goes unsaid. It is your refresh to relax. Quite interesting again. Let me not get into the details. Your faculties would have done. All right, Shetty sir might have already done what exactly this is, why, blah, 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 blah. So I call it as simple caps R2R. We are going to look at your next paper, corporate law and others. All right, that's the paper that I've handled. If you remember the faculty by mistake, if you don't, it's okay. Let's quickly get started. What we'll do is we're going to keep our entire discussion. Am I audible? Yes, no, respond.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
I'm going to sit and give you gyan about how to go write, what to write, how much to write. All that is something that you already know. All right. So what we are going to do is this 1 hour that we're going to spend together. Let's ensure it is an investment for the next 1.5 days that you have. All right. So when's your examination, by the way?
4th.
That's day after tomorrow, according to me. Yes. Correct me
Yes,
if
sir.
I'm all
Yes,
right.
sir.
4.
So,
Yes, sir.
1.5 days enough, 100% more than enough. More than enough. You can go play a cricket match and come back home also possible. Don't worry, by particular. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to see how do you go about using this 1.5 day for getting those brownie important points. How do you approach this paper? All right. But first thing that we're going to do is spend 20-25 minutes only on ensuring what you shouldn't do. All right. Ensuring what you shouldn't do. At times you save a lot by not doing something. All right. At times you save a lot by not investing. Not investing is also a strategy. Yes. So that's what we're going to do. Stop thinking about last few hours. Just laugh out loudly and focus in the next few hours that we're going to do. All right. However your paper was. Done. All right. Good, bad, don't bother. If it was good, you shouldn't bother. If it was bad, trust me, you shouldn't bother. Why? Sir, because it would have been bad for everyone. Second thing, usually first paper is supposed to be bouncer. Third thing, sir, now you can't do anything. As simple as that. All right. Neither you nor I can go change anything that we have written. Then why worry about something that not even in our control? I know it's easier said than done. Most of you might be thinking, sir, just because you become a CA now, you can make these statements. I understand. But trust me, is it even in your control? Ask logical questions to yourself. All right. So you can't do anything. If it was good, why are you even bothered about it? If it was bad, don't bother anymore because it would have been bad for many of us. All right. Many of us. If it was good, please stop bothering when things are good. This is another problem. Why was it good only for me and not for others? This is another psychotic problem which we have. Please don't get into it. All right. So let's get started. However, your past few hours, just take a quick 10-second and laugh out. Laugh out. Close your camera, switch on your cameras, do whatever you want. Please at least smile for God's sake. Person is giving the same amount of energy which he usually gives early in the morning at 6:45. So can I please get that little energy? Guys, can I see that little smile? I know it's too costly during examination hours, but you can afford it. You can afford it. All right. Will not take much time on this then. Let's get started. This is important points And I call these as gentle reminders. Why reminders? Because we might have discussed this in length and breadth earlier. All right. But what happens with us is we forget the important things and we remember things which should not be remembered. All right. Who killed Kattappa? Who killed Bahubali? We remember something that you don't have to really bother about. But yes, you remember. Just extremely critical for your forthcoming examination. 100% focus. Forget about what has happened in the last few hours. You can't change it, whether good or bad. You can't do anything. Let's get started with our gentle reminders. All right. So, question paper comprises of 2 parts. Sir, we know all these things. Don't waste our time. But most important thing that you have to remember is there's 30 marks MCQ and there's descriptive 70 marks. All right. Now, ensure somehow you sit out and somehow you write this 30 marks of MCQ. Right, wrong, I don't bother. You go right and come something on this 30 marks. Why? Just in case if you win in the Rangoli competition, you never know. All right. Just in case if you win in this Rangoli competition, you never know you got your 30 marks. All right. I know it might sound a little lame, sir, without reading how is it even possible, blah, 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 blah. That is my headache. I will figure it out. I will tell how to go about. But right now, keep it simple about losing even a single question a part of your MCQs. All right. 30 marks. Is there negative marking here? Is there negative marking here? No. CA Foundation days, 100% there was negative marking. So we had to bother. Now there's no negative marking. So you can't even afford losing out even one single question. I hope I'm extremely clear about what we are discussing right now. All right. Second, sir, should we take calculators? Yes, for God's sake, stop calling it as a theory paper. This is a paper where you have to take your calculator. Now I'm telling you, even after making these statements, I've seen multiple students of mine coming back after the examination and pinging me on all the possible forums and telling, sir, I forgot the calculator. I was not able to make the calculation appropriately. For me, 1 + 1 became 3 there. Possible. Don't take chance. Don't take chance. Carry calculator. Carry all the possible calculators. Of course, only one that you can carry. An important point that you have to remember is ensure you put down all the possible calculations, if anything is there, on the paper. Let me not get into high funda details. It could be as simple as, sir, minimum number of members required in a private company too. It's okay. You know, I know. Please let the other person also know that you know. Put it on paper. Steps-wise marking is not there only in accounts. There could be a stepwise marking even in law. Example, ascertaining how much is the amount that has to go to my unpaid dividend account. Within how many days should I transfer it? What separate account should I bother? What separate account should I start? All of these things you and I know might have a math which I can do on the calculator, but I want you to put it on paper. Are you guys understanding, everyone? Yes. Next one, guys. Speed. Today's paper might have been more than enough to prove that you were able to complete or you were not able to complete. Irrespective, I don't want to get into the details of that. What I want you to do is please maintain the speed right from the first millisecond of your paper. What happens is, sir, we end up writing at the best of the best pace in the last half an hour. Not possible. You'll not be able to finish the paper. Theory problem. The problem with theory papers is people end up making statements, sir, I was not able to complete the paper because I had so much to write. Now, maintaining speed, how is it possible when you should know how much to write for a 3 marker, how much to write for a 4 marker, and how much to write for a 6 marker? You cannot give the same length of answers for all. Why? Sir, because for a 2 marker, even if you write 10 pages, you're still going to get 2 marks. Just because you know something really, you know too much, don't prove it there, because at the end of the day, even if you prove, you'll get only 2 marks. Are you guys understanding? Maintain that consistency based on the mark. It has to be proportionate. It has to be proportionate. Just because I'm talking about subsidiary, you don't sit and give the definition of holding company. That is not going to fetch marks, even though you know the other person is not interested in getting that information. Are you guys understanding? So this is how you're going to maintain speed. This begins right from the first second. Don't give yourself reason how you're going to do, why you're going to do. That's all your headache. But you have to ensure right from the first minute, you're going to maintain the pace. Sir, unkonde, sochata, samjhata, all these things which you might have come up with in the last couple of years, don't do this mistake in your examination now. Read the question twice. I know it might be very obvious, sir. Why are you repeating this? Because here the problem is in accounts, At times, not reading might still save you marks because of the pattern that you follow. It might be a standard formula which you might apply. You might still get your answers right. In case of theory subject, they might call the holding company a subsidiary and the subsidiary as holding. Complete Chitrana is going to start there. Are you guys understanding? So how do you approach a lengthy question? Read the last sentence first and then read the entire question. As simple as that. Why? So if it is an MCQ, lengthy MCQ, all right, keep your life simple. First, read the last few sentences first, then read the entire question, so that you have a fair idea of what exactly is the question revolving around. They might give entire history of a person, not bothered. It might not even make difference to you. For you, what is important is only what this exact question is revolving around. So what you got to do is keep your life simple. I'm not asking you to skip reading the question. I repeat, I want you to read the last part first and then read the entire question once again. This is going to make your life easier and you will get a fair idea of how to approach the question. Are you guys understanding? Yes. Next, do not attempt to assume what the question could be. Very, very important. Classic example, Nidhi company. They've used the word Nidhi company. Suddenly you've started getting jitters. What could Nidhi company be? I don't know the concept. So it could be as simple as what is Nidhi company? It could be as simple as whether it is applicable to Nidhi company or not. It could be not even relevant from the Nidhi company perspective. Are you guys understanding? So don't assume just because you have some fear, some notion about a particular topic, you might not have read one day before examination, does not mean that you're not going to read the question. It could be a chiller question. Example, small company. The question is about small company. The moment you heard small company, suddenly you started shivering. Please, for God's sake, read the question. It could be as simple as whether a particular concept is applicable to small companies or not. What is small company? It could be anything. Are you guys understanding? Yes. So read the question twice, even before assuming. Write the question number in the middle of the page. Guys, this every time, every session, probably I made it a point to ensure that you guys remember how do you approach question papers. All right. So if this is your screen, all right, keeping it very simple, this is your page. Question number 3A, question number 3B, question number 3C, everything in a fresh page in the same sequence, and you write the question number right in the middle top. All right, there's no option. You write in the middle at the top. No left corners, right corners, bottom, top, nothing doing. Keep the evaluator's life easy. Keep the evaluator's life easy. If you realize I'm not getting into the technicalities, I'm just asking you how to present. At the end of the day, the other person is a human being. Don't forget that. So at times presentation matters. Make his life easier. He might not even get into the details. I hope I'm making myself clear. All right. So all the question numbers have to be in the middle of the page, right at the top. Sir, half a page I have to leave because it's waste. I don't even need it. It's okay. You please go to the next page and answer the next sub question. Don't try to save environment there, not required. Do some other projects later on. CAPS is anyways helping you in doing it. All right, going back to the next point. Write in points. Again, goes unsaid. Please, for God's sake, don't write anything in paragraphs. The other person doesn't have time. The other person doesn't have time to sit and read your paragraphs. Write every theory. Example, section 2, clause 85. Just giving an example, small company definition. For those of you who are not able to recall, it's okay. The whole point why we're sitting today is because you have 1.5 days to recall. All right. So section 2, clause 85. Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So section 2, clause 85.
Yeah.
Let's assume small company definition. Now, small company definition, you can write in paragraphs. Why don't you make your life easier and the other person's life easier as well by writing in points? Write one point about weight of capital, write the other point about turnover. As simple as that. All right. Don't write anything in paragraphs. All right, sir, there might be few topics in the study material itself, which is in paragraphs. You find out how you put this in bulletin points. It is possible. It is simple. Don't worry about it. All right, make the other person's life easier. Next point, best foot forward. Now, I think I made this statement long back multiple times during the sessions as well. Guys, I still remember SFM paper. CA final. I think you guys must be able to recall my own example that I'd given. All right, first 1.5 hours, what I wrote help me in clearing the paper. All right. Because the next 1.5 hours, I was not even in a state of mind to write more than 6 marks. More than 10, 12 marks, I couldn't write in the next 1.5 hours. All right. So what you're going to do is, sir, it's not necessary that you have to follow the same pattern of question. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I know 3A, I know 3B. 3C, I know something. I will come back and later and write. It's okay. You please first write those questions which you're really good at. All right. First 1.5 hour should decide your future in this paper. Whether it is getting 40, whether it is getting 80, whether it is whatever the score is, first 1.5 hour, I am going to invest time only on those topics which I'm extremely strong at. All right. It could be anything. You figure out. It could be prospectus as a chapter. It could be incorporation as a chapter. It could be basic definitions. You figure out. First 1.5 hour, I'm going to write only those points which I know. And somehow I have to write at least for 45 to 50 marks in the first 1 hour, first 1.5 hour. How? By maintaining your pace. Now, if I'm telling 50, you'll be able to write for 35, 40. Even you know that. All right. That's why little higher benchmark. First 1.5 hour, you have to attempt for at least 40, 45 marks. How you do it? By only maintaining your pace. You should know how much is to be written for what point of time. Are you guys understanding? Yes. Next one. I really don't have to get into this. Sleep well. Don't compromise. I'm telling you what you guys will do. I'm telling you. All right. Prediction. Astrologer. Listen. All right. Examination is at 2 o'clock. That's your exams are in the evening or in the morning. Quick.
2 o'clock to 5 o'clock.
2 o'clock. All right. Brilliant. 2 to 5 is your examination time. You will sleep at 6 o'clock in the morning for 2 hours. At 8 o'clock, you get up and revise everything that you've done in the last 1.5 years. In the last 9 months, whatever you've done, you're going to revise from 8 o'clock to 1 o'clock. How much did you sleep? 2 hours. Complete miserable situation in examination. Sir, because during those 3 hours, you have to manage stress. And the only way to do it is by keeping yourself calm. Sir, if you've not had a proper sleep, it's going to ruin your entire paper. I'm not sure how many of you face this today. Ask yourself. Ask yourself. All right. After 1.5 hours, after 2 hours, suddenly you find a dip in your energy. You find a complete miserable state. That is only because you've not slept well. Ensure you sleep well. How many hours? You decide. You are the best judge for how many hours. Now, if you say, sir, 1 hour is enough for me, please don't take so much high fund risk. At least bare minimum 5-6 hours on the day of examination. At least you have to sleep. You don't sleep today night. Don't sleep tomorrow whole day. I'm absolutely fine with it. Tomorrow night at around 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, you please wrap up and get up next day early in the morning and figure out. All right. I remember SFM CA final. Just slept for 2 hours. Was almost on the verge of losing out the attempt. God's grace, 1.5 hour, first 1.5 hour, what I wrote was enough for me to sail through the paper. But the next 1.5 hour, I was just able to write for 6 to 10 marks. I had attempted only for 60 marks. And I know the reason. I was completely drained out of energy. Don't want any one of you to go through. Learn from someone else's mistake. Learn from someone else's mistake. As simple as that. Don't repeat the mistake which someone else has done and he has suffered because of it. God's grace, I cleared the paper. That's a separate topic, but not necessary that this happens. At times, people writing for 100 are still scared of getting 35. We write for 60. We don't know how much we're going to get. Are you guys understanding? Are you guys understanding? Yes. Don't play around at this point of time. Next point. Carry water, and if possible, please carry lemonade. All right. This lemonade keeps you citrus and blah, blah, blah. The science you, after the examination, you figure out what is the science behind it. Please carry water bottle. Keep yourself hydrated. At that point of time, this immense amount of heat which is generated, and theory papers, you have to recall more. Theory papers, you have to recall more. All right. At least practical problems, practical papers, it's a standard template. You apply that template, it might work out. Theory papers, you have to go back to the all possible nerves and try to figure out everything possible, collate everything possible and put it on paper. So ensure you're calm, ensure you're carrying your lemonade and water bottle and whatever XYZ you think is appropriate for you. All right. Write a page with the pen you intend to use in the examination. Scribble, give it to your sibling. Make use of people who are there around you. All right, give it to your mother, father, brother, sister, husband, wife, whoever it is under the sky, whoever is jobless at that point of time, give it to them. Let them scribble. I want you to use a used pen in the examination. Doesn't mean that you carry a one pen and the refill is almost getting over. Then later on, you can't help. That is your stupidity. As simple as that. Understanding? Yes. Next point. Dispose the question paper immediately after the examination. 99% of you might have carried the question paper home and went home, checked whether I'm getting that 39, 40, 45, 50. You suddenly become the evaluator. Guys, you're not the evaluator. You don't know if you're going to get 40, you're going to get 4, you're going to get 80, you're going to get 90. You don't know. Why spend time on something that you're not even responsible for? I tell, discard the paper immediately. I I followed this. I know it might be wrong, right? I'll leave it to your judgment, but I used to tear the question paper immediately after the examination, dump it there and come back home. Why carry tension unnecessarily? Because if it's with me, I know I will have that eagerness to find out how much have I written. Don't carry the problem when you know you can't do anything in it. Tear the paper. Jai Mata Di. Jo hoga, so hoga. As simple as that. Are you guys understanding? I leave it to you. I leave it to you. You figure out. Attitude matters. The whole fact that why we love MS Dhoni, why we love that guy who is playing the last over, last match, last ball, is because he's calm and composed. During those 3 hours, just in case a situation arises where you know only for 30 marks, 35 marks, possible, God forbid, but just in case if that's the situation, don't forget to start trusting yourself at that point of time. Don't forget that you've been honest to yourself. Forget about being honest to anyone else, God, people, all that secondary. You've been honest to yourself. You've done efforts as much as possible. And that's possible only when you're calm. If the paper is tricky, just keep yourself calm, composed. It is possible. It's not high funda, it's not impossible. Guys, we've just seen recently so many events and incidents right in front of us where people have done major steps, major things in their life by just being calm. I hope you're understanding what I'm trying to say. During those 3 hours, if you're creating situation for yourself by panicking, not knowing a particular question topic, trust me, you're creating a problem for yourself. I'll give you a small incident of my own recent examination. I was writing my law examination. I shouldn't be sharing this, but having said that, anyways, we are learning together. The paper was Constitution. And sir goes with the knowledge of Contract Act. I was under the impression that this is Indian Contract Act paper, and I go with the preparation of Indian Contract Act, and suddenly I find that the paper is Constitution of India. The only thing that I told myself is, now can you do anything? Answer is no. Sit here, prepare your own constitution, make whatever it is, but you're not going to quit here. I genuinely, after that paper, I was never scared of attempting any paper, even if I was half prepared, unprepared, whatever it is. Now, doesn't mean that I'm motivating my friends to go ahead with this example. I'm just trying to tell you guys, being calm is extremely important during those 3 hours. Suddenly, trust me, after attempting that paper for 3 hours, somewhere I started realizing that my memory is good. It's decent. I was able to recall things that I'd learned somewhere, read somewhere, something I'd come across was enough. Whether I clear or not, that when results will come, we will figure out. Right now, not bothered. All right. So this is extremely important. Please keep your attitude calm. Read the questions carefully. Don't panic in case if you don't know something. Don't assume that you will not be knowing the answer even before reading the question. This is pathetic. Even before reading the question, the moment you saw Nidhi Company, I don't know the topic. Wow. Read the question once at least, boss. Read the question. You might know the answer. Stop giving up on yourself so easily. You might know the answer. Read the question twice. All right. Next point. No wrong section. Extremely important. Sir, I know the act. There can be only 4 or 5 acts from your entire syllabus. Don't quote anything which is not there. Don't tell Indian Penal Code. Don't talk about something which is Hindu Succession Act. All that is not there in your syllabus. For God's sake, don't quote that. So let's keep it simple. Sir, I know the subsection. Quote it. I know the section. Quote it. I don't know either of it. I know which chapter this is coming from. All right. Quote that. I don't even know the chapter. Quote the act. I don't even know the act. Quote as per the provisions of law. Mention as per the provisions of law. Not necessary that you have to remember all the sections. All right. Whatever you remember, you remember. You don't remember, write the act. If you don't remember the act, write as per the provisions of law. Ideally, make efforts next 1.5 days. As much as possible, you can recall all the sections that you have read earlier. If you can't, don't strain too much where it is not required. Understanding everyone? During the examination, write only section numbers which you know. No, sir, somewhere I'm confused. I have little confusion if it could be section 2 clause 85, 87. I don't know. Don't take chance. Just write section 2. Example, definition of small companies, definition of subsidiary. I am confused whether it is section 2 clause 85, section 2 clause 87. I don't know. Just write section 2. I don't know if it is coming in section 2. Write Companies Act. I don't know if it is Companies Act. Write as per the provisions of law. As simple as that. Understanding, friends? Don't quote wrong section numbers until you're sure. It is easy. You're making the evaluator's life easy to scratch your answers. As simple as that. All right. Next one. Don't watch others in examination. This you might or yourself know. Someone has walked out within an hour, within 2 hours, within 2.5 hours. I'm not sure if you can do that now or not. According to me, you can't until you get over with the paper. Someone is taking additional sheets. Someone is just asking for 100 different things. Don't fall for all of those. ensure that you at least don't see your friend in the examination hall. All right. He is the most miserable person in the examination hall, the pathetic person I would ever want to see in the examination hall. Why? Either he'll make me laugh so much that I get scared, or he'll make me feel so much overwhelmed that I might get scared. Both of these situations, please avoid as much as possible. All right. Now, time for 4 marks and 2 marks can't be the same. You have to remember that relationship for marks and length has to go hand in hand. Sir, if it is 2 marker, don't sit and write for 2 pages and all of that. Try different presentations if possible. All right. Usually we follow a standard format. If it's a case study, you know, it is provisions, it is facts of the case, it is provision of law, analysis, and conclusion. If there are a few questions which are direct questions where you might not want to give this format, try some other format. It could be tables, it could be charts, it could be any other format. It's not BCom. Had it been BCom, I would have asked you not to give anything apart from writing in paragraphs. I wouldn't have even asked you not to write in points. Right now, I want you to try some other presentations in case if you're possible. Now, don't experiment in the examination hall. For God's sake, don't experiment in the examination hall. If you're certain about it, please go ahead. All right, next one. Section. Now, what we discuss is going to be from your technical aspects. How do you approach this paper? How do you follow? Couple of things. All right. Now, 148 sections are there, 10 chapters. Chapters are bifurcated based on your acts. Then you have rules. All right. Start with the pattern, manner of writing section. All right. Whenever you're starting any of this, any of the answers, please start in a particular pattern. All right. If it's a direct question, it's not a case study. Narasimha, can you please sit down peacefully? All right. It's slightly disturbing, sir. So section 2 clause 85. All right. Let me keep it simple. It's a direct question. Now, if it is a direct question, you don't have to follow a particular pattern. You can straight away just write as per section 2 clause 85 of the Companies Act 2013. This is the provision. This is my analysis. This is the final conclusion. As simple as that. Are you guys understanding? Yes. It's a straight question. Follow a particular pattern. Now, important thing that you have to remember in examination, don't use words such as says, tells. All of these things are not going to be valued. You'll not get marks. I think during our classes also, I've made this clear several times. You're not going to use these kind of colloquial words when you're writing your answer. Use languages, right? States, provides, prescribes. These are easy words. Sir, nothing I remember. Use the word states. S-T-A-T-E-S, as simple as that. All right. This will solve all your problem. Don't use languages such as says, tells, told, all these things. It's not your relative who has come home. All right. Now, few case laws handy as much as possible. If possible, please carry few case laws. In Companies Act, maybe you might not have, but in your other laws, example, interpretation of statutes, it could be your other laws, wherever we are going to discuss now. All right. If possible, carry a few case laws handy. If possible, does not mean that now you're going to put extra efforts and try to read something new. Don't use the language that I've made it clear. Other laws important, not to be forgotten. Extremely important. Don't forget of other laws. 40 marks at stake. If you forget other laws, forget the paper, because 40 marks you're putting at stake. Now, how do you go ahead with this entire technical discussion? Now, we get into the technicalities. Am I audible? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes. We're going in time, on time. All right. So exactly 30 minutes we've spent on non-academic part of it, non-technical part of it. Each of these things are extremely critical. Something that I picked from Shetty sir, something that I've brought in from my experience, whatever it is. Ensure you don't mess it up. Keep it simple. Right now, don't experiment too much. Now we get into the technicalities. Prema there in the session. Why are you guys sitting with such grumpy faces? Can I see a little smile? Harshita there in the session, almost on the verge of extinction. There in the session. All right, brilliant. Let's get started, friends. Now we get into the technicalities. First thing that I'm going to make it clear. The moment you see the slides, don't get into the panic mode. Don't get into panic attacks. I don't know this. I don't know that. The fact that we are sitting together now is because next 1.5 days you have to go spend time on those topics which you don't know. All right. Now, first thing, don't experiment anything new for the next 1.5 days. Whatever you've read, you revise that. You're not going to sit and read anything new now. Whatever should have been done, you should have done it. Now, if you've done, great. If you've not done, it's absolutely fine. Don't miss out your 80 marks in the quench of getting those 10 extra marks. There's a high possibility that you lose out that 80 because the time taken for finishing 80 marks, revising 80 marks will be lesser compared to reading some 10 marks which you have never read. I hope I'm clear. I hope I'm clear. Chetra there in the session. Saireshika there? Yes. Now, Chaitanya, Aditi, Narasimha. The entire discussion is going by your chapters. All right. What we're going to do is we're going to see those extra important points, all right, extra focus points where you're going to spend some additional time while you're preparing for the next 1.5 days. Understanding does not mean I'm asking you not to read the other things. Right now, I'm just asking you to pay some extra time, spend some extra time while you're reading a particular chapter. As simple as that. Extra focus. Other things, only focus. Right now, these extra focus points. Understanding? Can I get started?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Chapter 1. All right. It talks about your preliminary. Simple chapter. Only 2 sections. Section 1, section 2. Now, what is the section 1? Applicability. Is there a possibility that they'll ask applicability? You would be the luckiest, because none of you attending this session will ever forget your electricity company, no Infosys, insurance, and all of that we had come across, whether it is applicable or not. All right. Each one of you should be confident about that. Section 2 talks about definition. Now, definition, I don't want you to spend any extra time while you're reading this chapter. As and when required, please use this chapter as a dictionary. Something that we did while we were doing our classes as well. During the sessions as well. How we've gone about, use the same pattern. Don't deviate anymore right now. All right. Important definition. Not all definitions are important. Am I audible? Am I audible?
So your voice is breaking, sir.
Now am I audible? Is it better?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So no need to focus on all the definition. Ensure that you read important definitions. All right. When we were discussing during the classes, we would have highlighted what is important, what is not important. All right. Just pay attention to those important definitions. Read this chapter as and when you're reading other chapters, apart from those which are not covered. Specifically, to keep it precise, definitions you're going to finish as and when you come across those words. Example, I'm reading chapter 2. Small company came. Now go finish your small company definition first in chapter 1 and then come back here. By now, you should at least know what definitions are covered in chapter 1 or not. As simple as that. Sagar there? Understanding? Yes, Kanda? Now, chapter 2 is your incorporation of companies and matters incidental thereto. Section 3 to section 22 is covered here. What are those extra focus points that you have to pay attention? What is OPC? Conversion of OPC. Can I convert OPC or not? 100%. Yes, you can. No confusion at all. All right. What is OPC? Who can become a member of OPC? Who can become a nominee of OPC? Whether a minor can become a not? All of those points which are covered. Guys, if you're not able to recall everything, relax. Right now, we're just paying extra. We're preparing what all I'm going to read. All right. For the next 1.5 days. Don't get into panic mode. Now, what is OPC? What is conversion of OPC? If the member falls below 2, or if the member falls below 7, what is going to happen? Section 3A comes into picture. What is going to happen? All of that which is covered here. Understanding? Alteration of MOA and AOA, conversion of company, and what is illegal association. All right. These are those extra focus points in your second chapter. Other things, are you going to read 100%? Yes, you will read other things. These are extra focus points, which I'm emphasizing time and again. Later on, don't tell sir, in your extra focus point, you didn't cover this. Please note, these are extra focus points based on our discussion. It may or it may not come. Are you guys understanding? Yes. Next. Chapter 3, prospectus and allotment of securities. Note, section 23 to 41 is applicable to public companies. Section 42 is applicable to public and private companies both. As simple as that. What is 42? 42 is talking about your private placement. All right. Pay extra attention on private placement. I will not be surprised if this time private placement comes as a topic. All right. At the same time, this chapter, I want you to spend, if you're reading it, say once. Every chapter, you might be reading it once. Read this chapter 1.5 times. Read it twice. I will not be surprised if questions are asked from this chapter. Why? Because in the last 1 year, there have been multiple IPOs which have come up. Multiple FPOs which have come up. All right. So they have to associate with the industry as well, whatever the questions they are asking. So don't worry, as and when required, I'll be focusing on that. So what are the things that you have to remember? What are the matters to be covered in prospectus? General matter, financial matters, statutory matters, all of that has to be covered here. Understood? Yes. What are the types of prospectus? Don't enter the examination hall without reading the types of prospectus. Red herring prospectus, shelf prospectus, abridged prospectus. Do you remember somewhere someone had taught? All right. So these are those types of prospectus which you will have to spend time. What exactly these are? How are they different? Just ensure that you find at least one point of difference amongst all of these. We have discussed. All right. Don't worry. Variation in the terms of contract. After issuing the contract, can I vary the terms? If yes, should I pass a special resolution? Should I give an exit offer? Should I give the dissenting shareholder? All of those points which are covered here. Guys, don't panic. If you're not able to recall, I repeat, you have time. Right now, I just want you to focus on what's important, which you're going to pay extra attention. Commission. Can I give commission to the brokers who are helping me in getting these offers? If it is debentures, if it is share, 5%, 2.5%. Do you remember? All right. So there are two different categories, and based on that, you're going to give commission as well. How are you going to calculate also is important. I will not be surprised if there's a case study here. All right. Allotment. How allotment is going to be made. Very important thing. If you see in bold, private placement, 50 in one shot, 200 in aggregate during the year. All right. What papers have to be submitted? There's something called as private placement offer. So all of these things are covered as a part of your private placement. Private placement, extremely important topic from this chapter. Understanding? Yes. Sangeeta there in the session. Navneet, Jayanti. Chapter 4 talks about your share capital and debentures, section 43 to 72. Now this chapter, you must be happy because this is already being covered while you are preparing for your first chapter, first subject. Not everything, but significant portion has already been covered in your first subject. There might be little which is covered in your section.
So your voice is breaking.
No, sir, we don't remember anything. Don't worry. Am I audible now?
Yes.
Am I audible now? Yes, no?
So your voice is still breaking.
Yes, sir.
Is it audible now?
Yes.
Yes.
Extreme apologies. Extreme apologies. There was something really wrong with the network. Can someone quickly give me the hosting rights? Yes. All right. So let's continue. The next point is share capital and debentures. Now, friends, your caps material is already covering sufficient details in this. All right. But apart from that, it is already covered as a topic in your Group 1 accounts and Group 2 accounts. All right. During our classes as well, we've looked into it. What all is important from your law perspective, we've discussed. All right. So this chapter, as and when you're reading your Group 1 accounts, you might have already finished it. Don't spend extra time because you put in efforts at the time. Now, just ensure that you spend some time, finish the syllabus from Group 2 and read your caps material once for law. Understanding, everyone? Yes. Next. Acceptance of deposit. Now, again, one of the most important topics. Why? Because if they have to ask questions now, they in your entire CA curriculum, they can ask questions only at intermediate stage. So it is extremely important. Ensure that you read this chapter carefully and then enter the examination hall. All right. Now, what all should you read? Am I audible now? Yes. Is there still a lag, or
Yes,
is it fine?
Fine,
So,
sir.
extra things that you'll have to remember. What is deposit? Who is an eligible company? Net worth, turnover, a couple of things that are covered there. All right. What is the limit on accepting deposit? Can I accept anything and everything under the sky? The answer is no. 25%, 10%, 35%. Are you an eligible company? Are you a private company? Are you a government company? A couple of things revolving there. Yes. Amounts which are not considered as deposits. 2 marks MCQs will be from here. All right. There's the possibility of 2 marks MCQs coming from here. Again, possibility. All right. What is not deposit? If you remember, from central government, if I take, from foreigners, if I take, from share subscription money, which is outstanding, and a couple of things that we had discussed. All right. Next, registration of charges. Again, simple chiller topic. Section 77 to 87. Not very, very important, but at the same time, pay attention to this topic. All right. What all is important? Types of charges. Registration procedure. Within how many days? If you remember, after 2nd November 2018, there's a change in the registration mechanism. Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
No.
Yes, sir.
Respond.
Yes, sir.
Audible, friends?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Your video froze.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Audible? Yes. Can I get
Yes,
some
sir.
response? Quick.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right. So let's continue. Sir, the next topic is, when it comes to your
So you're not audible, sir.
when it comes to your registration charges, just ensure that you pay extra focus on your registration procedure, consequences of non-registration, and what is constructive notice. Extremely important topic. What exactly is constructive notice? All right. In case if it is charges. Is it better? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Extreme apologies. I really have no clue what's going wrong with, I'm trying with 2 different Wi-Fi's, both of it not working. Now is it better? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Apologies. Let me quickly take you through what exactly we've spoken about. One was registration of charges that we were talking about. Pay extra focus on your charges, registration procedure, and what will happen in case if you don't register. who all are supposed to register is important. All right. Who can go ahead and register? It can be the lender, it could be the borrower, or it could be any other person who's interested in the transaction. So pay extra focus and attention there. Charge is a constructive notice. There's a case study in your study material. Pay extra focus on that case study. Read that case study carefully and go attend the examination. On charges. On charges, there's a case study in your study material. Read that study material, case study, and enter the examination hall. We've discussed during our classes. During our classes, we've touched upon that. All right. Next, chapter 7, management and administration. Don't even attend the examination if you have not read this chapter. You will have to read this chapter next 1.5 days. If you haven't ever touched, read it from the caption material at least. Very, very important topic, extremely critical topic. Now, what all is important from this topic? Read foreign registers. Case study in study material. Again, there are 2 case studies. One is about your minor shareholder and the other one is about a joint shareholder. All right. In case if it is a minor, then the guardian is going to come into picture. If it is a joint shareholder, whose name is going to reflect first, and a couple of things revolving there. We have discussed during our classes. If you want me to quote the case study, it is about Joey and the other one is about Mila, if I'm not wrong. All right. So those are the names. Just check 2 important case studies. What exactly is the notice? How are you going to send the notice? Special notice as a special concept. All right. There's a concept called a special notice. Read that extremely pay extra focus on that. I will not be surprised if that comes as a question. All right. What exactly is an explanatory statement? What is the quorum? Now, quorum differs. In case of a public company, the quorum differs based on the number of members. If it is 5,000, if it is 200, if it is 100, just figure out, just ensure you read the quorum because there can be a case study. Types of voting. There can be different types of voting based on, it can be voting by post, it can be voting by hands, it can be electronic voting, a couple of things. Now, ensure you read types of voting very, very carefully. Important topic. All right. Next, types of resolution. It can be a special resolution. Now, special resolution does not mean only 2/3, 3/4, whatever the majority is. No, you will have to read that an explanatory statement has to be there. In the notice, you have to mention that it is in the nature of special notice. So ensure you capture that as well in your answer. Understanding? Yes. Next point. AGM, EGM. Very, very important topic. AGM, EGM, you will have to pay extra focus when you're reading. What exactly is the AGM? In case if it gets adjourned, when will the adjourned meeting be held? If it is EGM, if that gets adjourned, what will happen? If it is board meeting, if that gets adjourned, what will happen? Important topic. Important topic. Pay extra focus. What will happen after adjournment? In case of adjournment, will it get automatically adjourned to the next week, same day, same time, same place? What is going to happen? Just figure out. All right. So this is important from your management. Declaration of dividend. Very important. You might have already captured this while reading your group 1 accounts. All right. What are the sources of dividend? In case if it is interim dividend, if it is final dividend, different sources. If I'm using my old reserves, what can be the sources? How much can I reserve? How much can I withdraw? After withdrawing, how much can be left in my reserves? All of those important points, conditions which you're paying in case if you're paying out of your accumulated profits. What is the difference between interim dividend and final dividend? Goes inside. There can be, if you're lucky, this can also come as a 4 marker. What is the difference between interim dividend, final dividend? Each one of you will be in a position to write. I am confident. All right. Chart. Ensure on the day of examination, you spend 30 seconds, extra 30 seconds in reading this chart. Within 5 days, you have to transfer to your scheduled bank account. Then what will happen to your IEPF? Then from IEPF, where will it go? Before IEPF, it will come to your unpaid dividend account. A couple of things that we discussed in length and breadth. Ensure that you read this carefully. Understanding? Next, acceptance, accounts of companies, chiller topic. Each one of you will be able to handle. What will, in case if I want to keep it somewhere else, can I keep or not? What will happen in case of consolidated financial statements, if you remember? All right. If I have a joint venture, if I have a subsidiary, if I have a joint venture and subsidiary, do you remember? Yes. Next, reopening books, revision of books. Very, very important. These are 2 different topics. Voluntarily, can I reopen the books? Revision is where the courts have ordered for me to revise the books. 2 important sections. Ensure that you spend some time here. Who is going to finalize? Who is going to sign the financial statements? Again, important topic. Spend some time. CSR. Plethora of amendments. Plethora of amendments. We have learned this chapter from in depth, rather right from inception. What happened? What was the amendment? We've looked into it in detail. CSR, extremely important topic from this chapter. Extremely important chapter topic. All right, topic from this chapter. Now, audit and auditors. Now, your auditing faculty might have taken you in detail, section 139 to 148. Now, how do you approach this? Don't read everything. Read only the legal portion of it. Just read the law portion of it. Don't sit and find out what your auditing faculty is seen from auditor's perspective. All right. What as a company you have to do under section 139 to 148? That is something that you will have to pay extra focus. All right, understanding? Now, only the law portion. Reporting and all, your auditing faculty in auditing paper will take you through, not required right now from law perspective. Understanding? All the amendments in relation to COVID are important. Audible? Audible? COVID related reliefs have come. If you remember, we've discussed during our classes as well. All right, what are attempt RTP? In your attempt RTP, there is something related to COVID related reliefs. Ensure that you read once that carefully on the day of examination. All right. Now, last bit, last chunk. Don't forget that you have something called as other laws. For God's sake, just don't consider your paper is only of Companies Act. No. All right. Now, how do you approach this? Please go as we had discussed, like we learned. Finish one module of Companies Act, immediately jump and finish one chapter of your contract of your other laws. With this, you will be able to balance both the syllabus as well as the marks. Understanding? Yes. Don't finish entire Companies Act at one stretch. You will be in a complete confusion state after that. Finish one module, switch. Finish one module, switch. Finish one module, switch. This is what we have done during our classes as well. All right. Now, Indian Contract Act, extra focus point. What exactly is the consideration for guarantee? What is contract of indemnity? Difference between indemnity and guarantee. This has come several times in examination. Rights of surety. Now, in this right also, right against the principal debtor, if you remember, right of subrogation, right to be indemnified, and a couple of things. Your faculty has taught you. Go check the figures. All right. Check the books. Notes. Finder of lost goods, section 168, section 169. Can he sell or not? Section 169 talks about it. Important topic. Important topic. Pay extra focus on that. Understanding, everyone? Understanding? Yes, no.
Yes.
Respond. Next, types of lien. All right. What are the various types of lien? You can have a particular lien. You can have a general lien. Check what type of lien. All right. Next, delegation, creation of sub-agent and substituted agent. Now, whether it is allowed, whether it is right, whether it is wrong. So delegation, delegate, protest, non-delegate. Do you remember somewhere we had learned? All right. So all of those things you will have to check. Difference between sub-agent and substituted agent is another important point. All right. I've switched off my camera just to ensure that the bandwidth is there. Next, negotiable instrument is again simple topic, nothing high funda. What are the characteristics? Not really important, I would say, but pay extra focus on HIDC. These are Abhimanyu. Question can be asked. Question can be asked on your HIDC as a topic. All right. What are the classifications of negotiable instrument? There was one question only on inchoate and ambiguous instrument. All right. So there is one topic which is dealing with your inchoate, inland instrument, foreign instrument. So all of those important topics. There can be case studies coming here. All right. Next point. What are acceptance of a bill drawn in fictitious name? All right. The person does not exist at all, but still I've drawn a bill. If you remember the example, the case study of Z, a person who does not even exist. Later on, you can't come and tell me that I don't exist, so you can't accept, and all those things important from examination. Material alteration without someone's consent. If I make any alteration, is it acceptable or not? No, it is not going to be acceptable. You will have to take the permission. Are there exceptions? Yes, exceptions are there. Please ensure you read the exceptions carefully. All right. Can I have an instrument without consideration? Kite bill, accommodation bill, and all of those that we learned as a part. General piece of law? No. Exceptions? Yes. Learn that. All right. Next. Very, very important. Check bounce. All right. If the check bounces, what is going to happen? Slap yourself if you are agreeing to this language, because this language does not exist. Do you recall? Yes. So be very careful about the language that you use. Next, chapter 3, General Clauses Act. Focus on extra point. What is the objective? What is the objective of this entire point? All right. Is the screen visible?
Yes.
Is the
Yes,
screen
sir.
visible? All right. General Clauses Act. What exactly is the topic revolving around? You have to pay extra focus on what is the objective. What is the objective of the act? Second thing that you have to remember is what are the general rules of construction? It could be your lateral edges. It could be those couple of things that we had learned. All right. Ensure you spend some time there. Measurement of distance and computation of time. How do you compute time? How do you measure distance aerially on a straight plane? All of that. Yes. One mistake, 2 penalties, not possible. One mistake, only 1 penalty. And the last point, servicing by note, by post. There is one question which they had asked in one of the examination, write a short note on good faith. There's a definition of good faith, if you remember. All right, some case laws that we had learned, if you remember. Yes. So ensure you spend some time there. Important. It in itself can be a short note question for 3 months. Write a short note on good faith. And the last topic is interpretation of statutes. What are the rules of interpretation? What are the internal aids of interpretation? Understanding few important terminologies. Example, your preamble. What exactly is a preamble? How do you go about important terms like notwithstanding, subject to, without prejudice? These 3 important words are covered as a part of your study material. Ensure you read these 3 important words carefully, important from exam perspective. All right. With this, I come to an end. We have exactly 4 minutes. All right. First of all, extreme apologies because there was some communication problem. There's some network problem. Having said that, I am confident. Am I audible? First of all?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Audible?
Yes.
Not audible?
Audible.
Audible, sir.
Audible? Yes, no, respond.
Yes, sir.
All right, I am not really sure what is happening, but nevertheless, since I've finished it, it becomes easier. Now, guys, keep yourself extremely calm. Don't try to read something new now. All right, not the right time. Whatever you've read, it's okay even if you just read for 80 marks and go attempt 100, it's absolutely fine. Instead of covering extra 20 marks and keeping 80 marks at stake, don't do this mistake. Keep calm. I am confident each one of you, if you've been diligent during the classes, you will be able to recall. All right. You will definitely, don't underestimate the power of your memory. It is extremely sharp and it always comes to rescue if you recall. If you give a little respect to your memory, it will definitely come help you. All right. So I've given you a live example. I went and wrote a paper, which I don't even remember whether it was there in my syllabus or not. God's grace. You just respect your memory, you will be able to recall. Somewhere in 8th, 9th, 10th, I had learned what is extra cohort, what is this, that, blah, 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 blah. Constitution, I was able to recall. Not everything, but something, yes. Trust your memory. Stop doubting yourself. You will all come out with flying colors. Don't have over expectations. Don't have under expectation. You go with your preparation. You will come out with flying colors. All right. Immediately after the examination, tear your question paper. Dump it there. Right, wrong, I don't care. For me, importance is of the fact that I don't get carried away with this paper after writing examination. My next paper should not be influenced. My past cannot decide my present and future. As simple as that. My past cannot decide my present and future. I've written the paper, accounts, good, bad. Now that's my past. Now that can't decide what is my present and my future. As simple as that. Having said that, I am confident each one of you have done great during our sessions. You will be able to come out with flying colors. I'm confident about each one of you. Now, most of you thinking you've never even seen our faces during the classes. It's okay. But still, somewhere we've been there. All right. So you will come out of the examination with flying colors. Trust yourself. Don't do anything over right now. Don't go beyond your limits right now. Now, what it is, you have to understand in terms of your physical limits, in terms of your mental limits. All right. Give respect to your body, to your mind for the next few days, and it will all be normal. After that, let's plan sometime soon. We'll catch up sometime soon. All right. Having said this, all the very best. Will not take much time of yours. And apologies once again because of the network. Come out with flying colors. Let's catch up sometime soon, friends. See you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
See you guys.
sir.
All the best. All the best. See you.